The 2024-25 diplomacy season is over, and the stakes are higher than Willie Nelson standing on top of Brandon Fogel's ego. We've got new twists, bald moves, and standing so wild, they're like Dolly Parton's hair. Big, bold, and impossible to ignore, especially in 2025. Strap on your boots and grab the reins. This is the DBNI Countdown Show.
Yeehaw! Love my hobby. Welcome to the final DBNI Countdown Show of the 2024-25 regular season. I'm your host, Brian Pravel, and with me is the man who's been avoiding work like Ferris Bueller on his day off, my co-host and fellow DBN co-founder, Zachary Moore, who recently retired as commissioner of the Virtual Diplomacy League. Zach, any parades or wild adventures in your retirement so far?
Just the parade I'm planning in February to parade my enemies' heads on a spike around the DBNI Invitational Town Square. This glorious season is in the books, Brian. The battles have been fought, the standings are locked, and the stage is set for the DBNI. Some players soared to greatness, while others went down in a pile of flames. And we loved every second of it, Brian. Let me tell you why. It's because the DBN Invitational is a year-long points competition between players around the globe from the face-to-face, virtual face-to-face, and extended deadline communities, culminating in an invitational tournament in February, the month of love, on the 14th, ever heard of it, to determine the DBN Diplomat of the Year.
Players automatically qualify for the DBNI by winning a major event. These are the pinnacle of diplomacy tournaments, the kind that draw the best players from around the globe. If you're at the top one of these, you've punched your ticket right to the top of the DBNI.
But if you didn't win a major, don't worry. Players can still qualify by accumulating points from their placement at DBNI 60 and DBNI 80 events. That's what we call the hard way, folks. The higher you finish, the more points you rack up. And at the end of the season, we total up each player's 3 best scores on Brandon Fogel's special little calculator and invite the top 28 players to compete for the title of DBN Diplomat of the Year on diplomacy's biggest, brightest stage.
And let's take a look at the winners of the DBNI qualifying events from the spring of the 2024-25 season. Katie Gray was the first player to punch her ticket to the DBNI by winning the season's first major, the prestigious North American DipCon at Cascadia.
Coming up now, we have the winners from summer's qualifying events. The big event to highlight here is 2024 World DipCon, won by 2-time DipCon World Champion and Virtual Diplomacy Champion, Nicolas Ahuguet.
And Karthik Konath won the European DipCon, the first major event of a very busy fall split, with Max Wanjiro Banks winning the Australian Diplomacy Championship 1 month later.
Finally, Jordan Conk Connors and Jackson Roberts closed out this incredible season by winning the Virtual Diplomacy League and Virtual Diplomacy Championship, respectively.
And congratulations to all of this season's winners. What a great time to be a diplomacy fan, Zach. We had 29, count them, 29 qualifying events this season. That's a 61% increase over last year's 18 events. Don't check my math.
And you're wondering why I'm retiring? I can't even count that high, Brian. Only 6 of those events came with automatic qualifications, leaving 22 DBNI spots up for grabs. This season is officially over, so with everything on the line, let's see those standings.
All right, here we go.
Starting with the top 7, in first place, it's always spooky season when Cardigan Coneth is cozying up to your home centers and trying to grab your top. He's the Scorpio to your frog, and your negotiation time he will hog. And this season, he's diplomacy's top dog.
I see what you did there. In second place, it's multi-format world champion Jamal Blakarli. The Jade Buddha's style is smoother than a wallaby on a water slide, playful, charming, and extremely awkward to stop. Big wins at Melbourne, the Cane Toad Classic, and the Gauntlet. Jamal is the player who can convince you to hand over your centers with a smile and a nagging feeling it might all just be some trickery word BS.
All aboard! In third place, we have Jordan Connors, the 2024 VDL champion, who scored an incredible 195.6 points from just 3 events. That's an 80% top share, folks. Haven't seen anything like it. Jordan's gameplay is like a Japanese bullet train, precise, efficient, and unforgiving. If you can't read his signals, you'll miss your stop while he speeds to victory. Let me tell you something, Brian. Jordan Connors doesn't just play diplomacy. He conducts it, and every move is right on schedule. Can Jordan win this year's DBNI? I think he can. I think he can. I think he can.
Coming in fourth, North American DipCon champion Katie Gray was not eliminated in a single game this season. Katie has all of Diplomacy's 3 C's, chill, charm, and cunning. The rumors she may have discovered a 4th C this season, Cerveza. Oh my Lanta, Zach, she makes it look so easy.
There's one thing I know about Katie, is she did not discover Cerveza this season, Brian. In 5th place, it's the man with 4 names, Max Wanji-Ro Banks. This season's Rookie of the Year, Max scored 166.3 points with a 46% top share in 5 events, including a major win at the Australian Diplomacy Championship. Don't let Max's chill Australian vibe fool you. While you're trying to decode words like arvo, chook, or thongs, he's quietly taking your centers. But Brian, listen here, the Australian players don't know this. The American players, in America, there's nothing that 6 men can do better than taking out Roe.
Oh my God. This is true. The defending DBNI champion and 2-time DBNI Diplomat of the Year, Peter the Calculator McNamara, took 2nd at the World DipCon and won the Australian Open, but struggled at several other events this season, ending with an unusually low 18% top share. However, like an AI large language model with a few hallucinations, Peter still got enough right to land in 6th place overall. It's a testament to his S-tier talent that even on an off year for Peter, it's better than most players' best.
Brian, last year we predicted that we would see Micah Blum qualify for the 2025 DBNI, and here she is, the 7th seed overall. Micah went from being a 37th seed alternate last season to one of the community's favorite players with 152 points from 12 events and 43 boards. Her consistent performance and growing fan base proves she's doing something right.
And we're really glad she proved us right for once as well. In places 8 to 14, in position 008, we have Bradley Grace, the Tour of Britain's reigning King of England, who is shaken but not stirred at last weekend's VDC. Bradley's game is a mix of British precision and flair. Think James Bond with fleets, armies, and diplomacy nerds instead of gadgets, Aston Martins, and femme fatales. Actually, that doesn't sound like James Bond at all, but it does sound like 8th place in this season's DBNI standings.
Leave it to Brian to glitz up 8th place. In 9th place, we have Marcus Lone, a player who grilled his opposition with 2nd place finishes at the Australian Open and Snake Pit Virtual League. Marcus's gameplay is like a classic Aussie baddie. Slow cooked, perfectly seasoned, and impossible to resist. Picture this, Brian. Sausages sizzling on the grill, prawns dripping with garlic butter, and juicy lamb chops ready to be devoured. Brian, it's the kind of spread that makes your mouth water faster than you can say, fair dinkum. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there thinking about Outback Steakhouse. Anyway, the point is that by the time you figured out what's going on, Marcus has already nicked your centers and your dinner, leaving you gobsmacked.
Last season's number 1 seed, Michalis Kamarides, topped over 50% of his boards this season and continues to prove why he's a perennial favorite. As a DBN analyst, Michalis uses his quick reads and board vision to write scripts. On the board, it seems like he's writing other people's orders. Will his deep understanding of diplomacy translate to victory on the biggest stage? We're not sure, but it's been enough to help him finish the season in 10th place.
And in 11th place, it is Jackson Roberts, a musical theater actor and showman on and off the board. For Jackson, this season's Virtual Diplomacy Championship may have started as a sad song, but he sang it anyway. Remembering Hadestown, he convinced his allies to wait for him, and by the time of the reprise, his opponents were raising their cups to toast their new champion, even when the odds are stacked against them. Jackson knows how to steal the show.
Rookie Jason Gray made a name for himself this season by making calculated risks. A former poker and backgammon pro, Jason comes from games where luck plays a role, but in diplomacy, there are no dice to roll and no cards to draw. Didn't stop him from turning probabilities into possibilities. Like a perfectly timed backgammon double, Jason knows how to seize the moment and flip the board in his favor.
Lucky 13th belongs to Dread Pirate Tim Crosby, a competitive fencer who brings the practiced thrill of a classic Hollywood duel to the diplomacy board. This man in black may seem a decent fellow. Actually, he may not. But after 92 games, he knows when to defend with a hedgehog, feint with a Balkan Gamic, or thrust with a perfectly timed Lepanto. He's studied his sharp, so while you're just smiling to yourself, thinking you've planned a well-timed secret stab, he smiles back because he also has a secret. He stabbed you 5 turns ago. Inconceivable!
Tim keeps using the word ally. I don't think it means what he thinks it means. In 14th place, we have Simone Wessendrup, the Netherlands diplomacy champion. This season, Simone blended tactical precision with just the right touch of ingenuity and persuasion. Like windmills and tulips, Simone is efficient and harder to topple than you'd expect.
Here now are places 15 through 21. Starting with 15th, rookie Justin Lohr made a huge splash in the Virtual Diplomacy League with an early solo and a photo finish that ended with Justin as the regular season champion. As an organizer of the Los Angeles Legionnaires Diplomacy Club, Justin's contributions extend beyond the board. And let's not forget the confidence it takes to submit your own highlights video to DBN for the VDL Championship. Cocky or confident, we're not sure, but either way, he's 15th place.
In 16th place, we have world champion Jan Clouet, one of the diplomacy's great innovators. Jan is a player who popularized Italy borrowing Trieste as a tempo play to attack Turkey, a tactic that reshaped the meta of this game. Sophisticated, methodical, and oh so very French, Jan is one of diplomacy's all-time greats.
And in 17th place, it is Riaz Virani, the friendliest backstabber in all of diplomacy. Known for his Canadian charm and razor-sharp tactics, Riaz is one of the best gunboat players in the world, able to outguess opponents in even the toughest 50-50 scenarios. While he hasn't played as much this season, he's still the complete package. And if Riaz shows up in February, the rest of the field had better watch out.
True words, Zach, true words. In 18th place, we have Steve Hogue, one of the original players from the very first season of the DBNI. This veteran's steady, methodical style is matched only by his impressive beard and unmistakable Kentucky charm. Playing with Stevens like sipping mint juleps at a derby party. Fun at first, but if you aren't careful, he'll take your dots and leave you with nothing but a hangover.
Well, what do you know, Brian? What do we have here? It's Zachary Moore, proving that his Midwest charm and Hollywood looks aren't the only thing he brings to the diplomacy table. He's the perfect ally. He's the perfect friend. He's the perfect package. Those dots that he ended the board with, they were thrust upon him out of duty. They were given out of love, respect, fear, and worship in a lot of ways, Brian. And bless his humility for settling for 19th place.
Don't worry, folks. I did triple check with the stats team, and they assured me this was not our mistake. It was every one of the boards Zach played on.
Brian, didn't you play on a board with me this season?
Let's
It's
move
like
quickly
the-
on to 20th place, where rookie Rob O'Brien is proving he's a player to watch. Known as Varmint Online, his win over 161 other players in the Nexus Press League cemented his reputation as a standout in extended deadline play. Can Rob make the transition to virtual face-to-face games like fellow extended deadline player Jordan Connors? February will be the ultimate test.
And in 21st place, we have Johnny Gillum, the organizer of the Diplo-Rats Diplomacy Club out of New York City. Johnny brings chaotic, off-Broadway New York energy to every board. His gameplay might not be your first choice, but whether it's surprisingly brilliant or shockingly inappropriate, one thing's for sure, it will always be memorable.
Your last players to make the cut of this 2024-2025 season. Positions 22 to 28. In 22nd place, we have Michael Saxton, who claimed the Snake Pit Championship this season. A virtual Steve Irwin of the Diplomacy. Michael proved he knows how to handle snakes, charm the board, strike at just the right moment. If you're up against him, keep your guard up, because like the creatures of the Outback, Michael showed that even the smallest moves can have a deadly bite.
And in third place, it is Ed Sullivan, the cigar-smoking, whiskey-drinking Texan. Ed's like your endearing uncle, the one you let borrow your trailer for the weekend only to find out he's taken it on a nationwide road trip before finally bringing it back, empty on gas but full of stories. Give him an inch and he'll take your dots. Don't give him an inch and he'll take your dots, leaving you scratching your head and somehow still wanting to invite him over for the next game.
24th place, it's Jason Bennett, not Ramsey, a player whose name might sound familiar because dots always seem to go missing when he's on the board. Big scores at Dixie, Carnage, and the VDC. Jason's gameplay is all about pageantry. By the time you realize what's happening, how he ended with your centers has become an unsolved mystery.
After a rough outing in the virtual Diplomacy Championship game, Noam Brown's body may lie a moldering in the grave, but glory hallelujah, with a 25th place finish to the season, his soul still marches on.
26th place belongs to John Ben, whose season was defined by his big win at the Boston Massacre. John doesn't just stand up to tyranny on the diplomacy board, he sparks a revolution and sends his opponents into the harbor. He plays in the DBNI, his competitors should tread carefully. John's got a proven talent for spilling the tea.
Doug Malott plays with tempo and pace, bringing Mexico vibes to the race. He fought with great flair with a 56 top share to land himself in 27th place.
Beautiful, beautiful, Zach. And sitting in the final spot of our top 28 is rookie Dominique Stevens, who made a strong debut with the second place finish at the Cane Toad Classic. Like the Cane Toad itself, Dominique might describe his game as resilient and adaptable, but the players he defeated would probably call it toxic and invasive. With top 5 finishes at the APAC Championship and Nexus Press League, this rookie has proven he's a tough opponent, so tread carefully if he's on your board.
Well, let's take a look at the players on the wrong side of the bubble, places 29 through 35, starting with Mr. Four-Way Top Share Keith Worstel. Surprised that didn't get him to the top of the standings, Brian. Zoe Cameron, Yelta Kuiper, Diamond Zach, Ben Kelman, Matthew Tatanchi, and Yoni Zuidinga. 2 rookies on there, Brian.
And here are positions 36 to 42. Andrew Goff, Wes Ketchum, Darcy Morris, Ian Rudnick, Jonathan Sun, Christoph Borja, and Roni Mordinoff.
I don't agree that Darcy's a rookie. He can't be a rookie. I don't agree with that. I also don't agree that he's not in the top 28. Check your math. That can't be right. He had an incredible season. As we did as a whole. What a season it's been, Brian. The standings are locked. We've got the best of the best ready to battle it out in DBNI. But let's not forget about the unsung heroes of this hobby, the alternates.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. While the top 28 are polishing their acceptance speeches, let's not forget that some of them might decline their invitations. Life happens. Weddings, work, mysterious disappearances when they've stabbed their allies one too many times. That's when the alternates step in.
The alternates are kind of like understudies in a way, always ready to jump in when the stars can't make it. Let's be honest, they're often the ones who steal the show.
Or maybe they're like backup quarterbacks waiting for their moment to shine, except instead of throwing touchdowns, they're throwing alliances under the bus.
Perfect analogy, Brian. Throwing allies under the bus is something you know a lot about. And don't forget, some of the greatest DBNI moments came from players who were alternates. Let's not say their names. Siobhan will be mad at us. The point is, if you're sitting just outside the top 28, don't make weekend plans just yet. This is the DBNI, the most cutthroat diplomacy tournament of all. Anything can happen. Keep that weekend wide open.
I look forward to all of those players that are able to make it. Just a quick pause for our top 28 of the regular season. Whether you play in the DBN Invitational or not, congratulations are very, very much in order. We're really grateful for everyone allowing us to comment and cover all of your games, poke fun, tease, and just help building such a wonderful community. We hope to see as many of you as possible in the DBNI itself as well. But the people that we are most interested in, Zachary Moore, are our rookies. Let's take a look now at Rookie Watch.
And let's start from the bottom of our chart in the Rookie Watch. In 7th place, we've got Yoni Zuidinga. Their best performance was impressive. A 2nd place finish at the Netherlands Diplomacy Championship. Took me a lot more than 1 year to get 2nd place at a tournament, Brian.
In 6th place, we have Zach Davis, who placed 3rd in the extremely competitive 7 Years War. It's the 2nd largest virtual league this season.
And in 5th place on Rookie Watch, it's New Zealand's Dominic Stevens, who found his way into the top 28 with an impressive 2nd place finish at the Canto Classic.
In 4th place, we have the mysterious varmint, Rob O'Brien, who won the Nexus Press League, besting 161 players across 63 boards of play.
In 3rd place, it's none other than Virtual Diplomacy League regular season winner and soloist, Justin Lohr.
2nd place, we have Jason Gray, who impressed with his performance at this season's Virtual Diplomacy Championship.
And in 1st place, we have the winner of the Asia Pacific Diplomacy Championship and the winner of our Eddie Birsan Rookie of the Year Award, Max Wanji Robanks.
Yeah, congratulations, Max. Really competitive season for our rookies. Such a stellar crop of players coming up. A lot of these names new to those in an American audience. Australia, perhaps known, perhaps not. They're known to us now. So we should all be on watch. Australian Hobby is extremely active, producing some of the very best diplomacy players of all time, including 2-time DBN Diplomat of the Year, Peter McNamara. So big congratulations to all of our rookies. New players are the lifeblood of this hobby. We've seen plenty of past rookies rise to the top. We're excited to see where this new generation takes us. Let's take a quick look now at some upcoming events. On screen now, we are looking at the upcoming DBN Invitational semifinal rounds. Mark your calendars, February 21 through 23, right here on Discord. We will have coverage of those semifinal rounds on the Diplomacy Broadcast Network on Sunday, February 23rd.
And don't use all your paid vacation on the semifinal rounds, because coming right up the rear is the championship game. March 1st, that following week, we will crown a season champion of the DBNI 2025. March 1st, be there. It's the biggest game of the year.
And for those that did not qualify, do not despair. The season never really stops. We are moving into the 2025-2026 season with our first event, the Cascadia Open, February 1st to 2nd in Vancouver, British Columbia.
SpireCon is back February 7th through 9 in Chesterfield, United Kingdom. The London Diplomacy Club has been growing and growing. They put on a great event over there.
And Hung Parliament Handicap, February 21st to 23rd, Canberra, Australia. If this is of interest, I've heard that there are adjustments to your handicap based on karaoke.
TotalCon Open is back in Marlborough, Massachusetts, February 2024, a long-running tournament out on the East Coast, United States.
And World DipCon 2025 is in San Francisco, California, April 4th to 6th. Got a really good group of players already registered. Hope that we will see you there. Well, Zach, that concludes our broadcast, and I believe this is our final countdown.
Are you going to sing?
It's the final countdown. It's the final countdown. And if that doesn't get me negative points for my handicap, I don't know what will. But Zach, seriously, this broadcast has been absolutely one of my favorite things to do. We started this as kind of a joke, and it has turned into a highlight. Really grateful to be your co-host. Really appreciate everything that you've done for this broadcast. And we will find another person to join me on this stage. We will continue the show, but it will never be the same. So I'll miss you.
I will miss it, Brian. Good times over the past several years. We fought through horrible sound, less than ideal lighting, all on one side of the room, I might add. And I know you got a stellar cast of potential replacements. I can't wait to see the show from the other side of the screen.
I'd like to thank all of you for watching today. Thank you for watching our DBNI Countdown show as always. If you have any questions or comments, please contact us at info@diplobn.com. If you enjoyed the show, please like the video, click the subscribe button, and tell us your thoughts. Make your own predictions in the comments section. All of this helps YouTube prioritize these videos and might help someone new discover this game that we enjoy so much. And until next time, stay safe and stab well. It's the final countdown. It's the final countdown.
The DBNI, I can't stop saying DBNI Invitational. Some players soared to greatness while others went down in flames, and we loved every second of it. Some players soared to greatness while others, so many others, went down in a heap of flames, and we loved every second of it, Brian.
Still you.
I thought it was I'm sorry. I was waiting for a transition. Oh, so I actually did get a little distracted there. Let me just take that from the top.
All right, we'll record that one again. That is definitely going in the outtakes.
And the 3 best scores will get you invited to shoot. I lost myself.
You're doing so good.
See, I haven't replicated. Good show. Good one to end on.